Did you know the White House explosion in Independence Day was so realistic that real firefighters showed up on set thinking it was a real emergency? That's how powerful movie magic can be. One summer night in 1996, aliens invaded our screens and our imaginations with flying saucers, brave pilots, and a president who fought back. It felt like the whole world was watching, because it was. Let's dive in and discover 20 weird and amazing facts about Independence Day. Number 20. The President's Speech almost didn't happen. The famous "We will not go quietly into the dark" speech almost never made it into the movie. The writers kept rewriting it right up until the last minute. Actor Bill Pullman practiced it over and over, even though he wasn't sure if it would stay in the script. On the day of filming, rain poured down, the lights flickered, and the crew was exhausted. But Pullman gave it everything. His voice shook with real emotion, not just acting. That speech became one of the most quoted lines in movie history. What looked like a simple moment of courage was actually born from stress, doubt, and last-minute panic. It looked easy, but it was chaos. Number 19. The alien ship was made of cardboard and glue. The giant alien mothership that hovered over Earth? It wasn't built with fancy computer parts. In early test shots, the model was made from cardboard, plastic, and old soda bottles. The special effects team glued, painted, and lit it by hand to make it look terrifyingly real. They even used Christmas lights inside to mimic glowing alien tech. When they showed it to the director, he laughed, then cried, from how convincing it looked. That tiny model became the face of an intergalactic war. What looked like high-tech sci-fi was really just clever craftwork. It looked easy, but it was chaos. Number 18. Will Smith wasn't the first choice. Believe it or not, Will Smith wasn't the studio's first pick to play Captain Stephen Hiller. They wanted a more serious actor at first, but Smith read the script and begged for the role. He even flew himself to the casting office in his own plane to prove he could play a fighter pilot. His charm, energy, and big smile won everyone over. Without him, the movie might have felt cold or scary. Smith brought warmth, humor, and heart to a story about the end of the world. That wasn't acting, it was real passion. Number 17. The dog had a secret name. The little dog that survives the alien attack? His real name wasn't Boomer, it was Moose. Moose was a trained animal actor who'd been in other movies, but the crew gave him a new name just for Independence Day. He had to run through smoke, dodge falling debris, fake, of course, and stay calm during loud explosions. Moose never flinched. He even wagged his tail between takes. That tiny dog became a symbol of hope in a broken world. What looked like luck was actually years of training and trust. It looked easy, but it was chaos. Number 16. The football game was real. The scene where people watch a football game before the aliens attack? That wasn't actors pretending. The filmmakers filmed real fans at a real college game in Texas. They asked the crowd to cheer, then later told them it was for a movie about aliens. Most people had no idea they'd be part of a blockbuster. When the movie came out, some fans recognized themselves on screen and cried. Their ordinary day became part of movie history. That wasn't acting, it was real joy. Number 15. The computer virus was a joke that stuck. The idea that a laptop virus could destroy an alien spaceship seemed silly, even to the writers, but they kept it because it made the hero, David Levinson, feel clever and human. In real life, computer experts laughed at the idea, but audiences loved it. It showed that brains could beat brawn, and that even a nerdy guy in a t-shirt could save the world. That small idea became a symbol of hope. What looked like a silly shortcut was actually a message. Anyone can be a hero. It looked easy, but it was chaos. Number 14. The White House explosion. Took months to plan. Blowing up the White House wasn't just about fire and smoke. The team built a giant-scale model, over 30 feet wide, and tested it again and again. They used real fire, real wind machines, and even real dust from construction sites to make it look authentic. On the day of the shoot, everyone held their breath. One wrong spark could ruin everything. When the explosion finally happened, the whole crew cheered. That iconic moment took weeks of work for just 10 seconds of film. What looked perfect on screen almost went wrong behind the camera. Number 13. Jeff Goldblum wrote his own lines. Jeff Goldblum, who played David Levinson, is known for his unique way of talking, fast, thoughtful, and full of ums. The writers loved it so much, they let him rewrite some of his own lines. He added little jokes, pauses, and nervous habits that made his character feel real. In one scene, he actually spilled coffee on his shirt and kept filming. It stayed in the final cut. That messy, brilliant mind felt like someone you'd meet in real life. That wasn't acting. It was real personality. Number 12. The movie was almost called ID4. Before it became Independence Day, the film had a secret code name, ID4. The studio thought the real title sounded too patriotic or old-fashioned, but the director insisted this movie was about freedom, unity, and fighting back on the 4th of July. He wanted people to feel proud, not just scared. When test audiences heard Independence Day, they stood up and cheered. The name stuck and became part of history. What looked like a simple title was actually a bold statement. It looked easy, but it was chaos. Number 11. The aliens had no faces. On purpose. The alien invaders were never fully shown. You only see their hands, shadows, or dead bodies. Why? Because the director wanted them to feel mysterious and terrifying. If you see a monster clearly, it can become silly. But if you don't see it, your imagination makes it scarier. The team built full alien suits, but only used them off-camera to scare the actors. That fear you see in their eyes? Totally real. That wasn't acting. It was real fear. Number 10. The fighter jets were real, but silent. The dogfight scenes with F/A-18 Hornets look loud and thrilling. But during filming, the jets flew without their engines roaring. Why? Because real jet noise would have drowned out the actors' voices and ruined the sound mix. Instead, the pilots flew quietly, and sound editors added the roar later. The actors had to imagine the chaos while sitting in near silence. What looked like a thunderous battle was actually eerily quiet on set. What looked perfect on screen almost went wrong behind the camera. Number 9. The movie saved a small town's economy. Filming took place in Wendover, Utah, a tiny desert town with not much going on. When the crew arrived, they hired locals as extras, bought food from small shops, and rented every hotel room for months. After the movie came out, tourists started visiting just to see where the alien ship landed. The town put up signs, sold souvenirs, and even held an annual Alien Day. One movie brought jobs, hope, and visitors to a forgotten place. Old tools, new magic. Number 8. The president's uniform was too big. Bill Pullman's military uniform didn't fit right at first. It was borrowed from a real Air Force officer, but it was 2 sizes too large. The costume team had only one night to fix it before the big speech scene. They sewed, pinned, and steamed it under hot lights while Pullman rehearsed. By morning, it looked perfect, but he could barely move his arms. He still gave one of the most powerful performances in film. What looked like confidence was actually tight stitching and nerves. It looked easy, but it was chaos. Number 7. The Welcome to Earth punch was real. When Captain Hiller punches the alien and says, "Welcome to Earth," Will Smith didn't fake it. He actually hit a padded stunt dummy so hard that his hand swelled up. He insisted on doing the punch himself, no stunt double. "If I'm going to say that line," he said, "I gotta mean it." The crew cheered, and the take was perfect on the first try. That wasn't acting, it was real attitude. Number 6. The moon explosion was a happy accident. In the opening scene, the moon explodes from the alien ship's shockwave. That effect was supposed to be subtle, but the first test looked too weak. So the effects team added more fire, more rocks, more light, and accidentally made it too dramatic. But the director loved it. He said, "Let's scare them right from the start." That mistake became one of the most shocking openings in sci-fi history. What looked perfect on-screen almost went wrong behind the camera. Number 5. The movie was finished, just in time. Independence Day was scheduled to premiere on July 4th, but in June, the movie still wasn't done. Editors worked 20-hour days. Sound mixers slept in the studio. Even the composer wrote music while watching rough cuts on a laptop in a parking lot. On the final night, they delivered the film just hours before the first screening. People cried, hugged, and collapsed from exhaustion. That summer, Blockbuster was born in the last possible moment. It looked easy, but it was chaos. Number 4. The aliens were inspired by squid. The alien design wasn't based on bugs or monsters. It came from deep-sea squid. The creature team studied ocean documentaries and loved how squid move. Smooth, silent, and strange. They gave the aliens long limbs, smooth skin, and dark eyes that never blink. That's why they feel so eerie. They're not from space. They're from the deep. What looked like fantasy was actually science. That wasn't acting. It was real inspiration. Number 3. The final toast was unscripted. At the end, survivors gather for a quiet toast with Budweiser beer. That moment wasn't in the original script. After days of filming explosions and chaos, the cast asked for one peaceful scene. The director said yes and let them write it together. They used real beer, non-alcoholic for some, real tears, and real silence. You can see relief in their eyes. That wasn't acting. It was real healing. Number 2. The movie changed. July 4th, forever before Independence Day, July 4th was just fireworks and barbecues. After the movie, it became Alien Invasion Day for fans. People dressed as pilots, built UFO cakes, and quoted lines at parties. Fireworks shows even added spaceship sounds. The film turned a national holiday into a shared story of courage. What looked like entertainment became a new tradition. It looked easy, but it was chaos. Number 1. It was made with love, not just money. Independence Day cost $75 million. But its real power came from heart. The crew believed in the story. They cried during sad scenes. They high-fived after explosions. They stayed late to help each other. This wasn't just a job. It was a mission. And that love shines through every frame. What looked like a big Hollywood movie was really a group of dreamers saying, "We can save the world together." That wasn't acting. It was real hope. Bonus fact. Deep in the archives, there's a lost scene where the aliens try to speak, but their words are just reversed recordings of whale songs. The director cut it because it felt too strange, but kept the audio files. Years later, a fan found them online and played them backward. What came out sounded like a warning or a plea. No one knows why the aliens came. Maybe they were lost. Maybe they were scared. Maybe they just wanted to be understood. One small choice changed movie history. Independence Day isn't just about spaceships and explosions. It's about ordinary people choosing courage when everything falls apart. It's about neighbors helping neighbors, strangers becoming friends, and hope rising from ashes. In a world that often feels divided, this movie reminds us, we're all Earthlings first. If you enjoyed these stories, subscribe for more. Every movie hides a truth, and we'll keep uncovering them, one story at a time.